CISL Vancouver. And now, it's Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Grain.
Well, quite a week it's been. And it's been a week, but Germany winning the World Cup about a week ago. The Whitecaps slump continues, now just one win in their last 7 matches, but a very important point against Real Salt Lake on the road. Good evening and welcome to Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk right here on AM 650 Radio in Vancouver. My name is Tyler Green. You can follow me on Twitter at TylerGreenFC. The show available via a webcast and live streaming at am650radio.com. Thank you for listening to us live or on the podcast. And we are broadcasting in those very beautiful AM 650 studios, the Barber & Co. studios at AM 650 Radio. The first half kickoff is brought to you by KO Kevin O'Toole and findaproperty.ca. Looking to sell your home and want someone with a successful record? Use Kevin O'Toole and findaproperty.ca's successful selling record to sell your property. Full details at findaproperty.ca. The best part, open houses. Kevin might give you a little cheese and crackers in there to snack on. Excellent way to spend a day looking at an open house from Kevin O'Toole, licensed realtor with Prudential Sussex Realty, online at findaproperty.ca. Okay, a week ago, Simon and I debating who's going to win the World Cup. He goes with Argentina. I stick with Germany all along. That's why I'm hosting this week, Simon. Germany wins it 1-0. Mario Götze with a goal. Beauty that it was. Could be the best team of the tournament, the Germans. That'll be one of the topics we discuss in the starting 11 tonight. But it was a very classy German side that won the tournament. And then just days ago, seeing Captain Philipp Lahm retire from international duty at the age of 30. For me, a little bit disappointing when I look at that, thinking, would have been nice to see this squad stick together and see what they could do for at least Euro 2016. It would have been nice to see the whole group pretty much stay together. Obviously, there's going to be some changes. Guys like Miroslav Klose, not likely in that 2016 picture. But would have been great to see just what this team could do, just holding all together as one. The 23-man All-Star team was announced for Major League Soccer to play against Bayern Munich, which many of those Germany World Cup stars will be a part of. No caps, though. Perhaps a little bit of their struggles of late. Perhaps Caleb Porter not wanting any white caps on the roster. Perhaps it's just good for the Caps to not be there, to not have to worry about playing. Yeah, sometimes it's 20 minutes, sometimes it's 45 minutes, what have you. Remember a few years back, Jada Merritt having to go the full 90 minutes and really leading to one of his injury concerns throughout that season. So maybe better that the Whitecaps don't have anybody there. I think that Jada Merritt appearance at an All-Star game has put a sour taste in the mouth of many Whitecaps fans who are perfectly happy with not having a Whitecap on that roster. Now, if somebody gets injured, could change. But right now, no Whitecaps on the MLS roster. Simon and I will give you our thoughts on that again in the starting 11. And the Whitecaps, well, their struggles continue. Yeah, they got a point at Rio Tinto Stadium, a very difficult place to play. It was hot and humid. Nobody beats RSL at home. I don't even know why the Whitecaps even showed up to play. You can't beat them at home. Why are you even there? Well, because you never know what's going to happen. And for me, I kind of was demanding a Whitecaps victory. But now, another tie, another draw. 1 point, it's great on the road. Still haven't made up those 3 points yet on the road that Carl Robinson was talking about. and now just one victory in their last 7 matches for the Whitecaps. And it leads us to our Barber poll today, presented by barberandco.ca. How do you rate the Whitecaps season as we're just 2 games past the halfway point? 27 points through 29 matches. Tweet us your thoughts with the hashtag #BarberPoll on Twitter at SoccerTalk650, at Tyler Green FC. You can also email us, soccertalk650@gmail.com, or you can give us a buzz at 604-280-0650. You can also weigh in on the Barber Poll on our Facebook page at facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan. The Barber Poll is presented by Barber & Co., Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, and a new location at Cambie and 18th. On Twitter at Barber & Co., or visit barberandco.ca. All right, coming up, a very, very busy show and a very exciting show today. In the first half of the program, Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk contributor Simon Fudge and I, Simon as well, writing for Goal.com, we'll dive into the starting 11. We'll discuss the Barber Poll as part of the starting 11. And we'll also chat with Whitecaps forward Omar Salgado as he gets his first start in Major League Soccer since 2012. So we'll hear from Omar about that as well. Omar's a pretty big guy. Would he have liked to have been in the scrum between RSL and the Whitecaps? Would he like to have to been in the mix there? Probably could handle himself. We'll ask Omar about that. In the second half of the program, former Vancouver Whitecaps manager Martin Rennie is off to Korea for his next coaching job. Eland FC, Seoul Eland FC. It's a brand new team. It will debut in basically Division 2 of Korean football. But they have some lofty expectations. They have some lofty goals. And Martin Rennie will join us. He announced it a couple days ago that that's where he was going, and he'll join us at about 11:15 this evening to talk about that. As well, in the second half of the program, we're also going to talk World Cup with a man who started 3 games in goal for Bosnia and Herzegovina at the World Cup in Asmir Begovic. He's also the goalkeeper for Stoke City, so we'll talk some Premier League as well. But he will talk about his experiences in Brazil when he joins us at 11:30. Another man who just got back from Brazil, David Sandals from Expert Physio, will join us at the kickoff of the second half at 11 o'clock. And as always, hot fudge, the topic everyone wants to hear about. What is the one thing that Simon is going to do this week, and he thinks that you should do it as well? You're listening to Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk right here on AM 650 Radio in Vancouver. Get into Kia Vancouver right now for the No Bull sales event. 0% financing up to 84 months and up to $4,000 cash bonuses on select models now at Kia Vancouver. That is 396 Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon. KiaVancouver.com. Again, my name's Tyler Green. Goal.com and Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk contributor Simon Fudge and I debate the starting 11 next.
Follow us on Twitter at SoccerTalk650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650.
It was true Italy. Every weekend, the Dussault family gathered to share laughter and plates of homemade pasta. So when the Dussault brothers came to Canada, rather than become homesick for the good times, they opened Dussault's on Granville Island. A generation later, the Dussaults are still creating authentic, home-style Italian pasta and sauce from natural ingredients. Great carbs and quick, healthy meals. Official pasta of the Vancouver Canucks and Vancouver Whitecaps FC. Look for Dussault's fresh pasta and sauce at your local grocery store. Visit Dussault's, DUSOS.com.
The 2014 season of EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. Welcome to the front lines of the game. Welcome to the big league. The one that provides an elevated level of competition for high-performance players within BC and contributes to player development for the Canadian national team and professional opportunities here and abroad. This is where you're going to see the top youth players in action. Catch some of the most intense soccer in the province. EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. For information and upcoming games, check out bcsoccer.net.
Whether playing soccer on this continent or football on every other, Umbro is the name worn by top players and teams worldwide. Those same uniforms are available for your team or club at umbro.com. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of Canada's men's and women's national teams, is celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. If you want your club to play like the pros, dress them like the pros at umbro.com. Umbro, the heart and soul of football.
Talk about hot. I talked to Jack McIver a few days ago, and he said he's had the same Danby portable air conditioner in his bedroom since 1999. Year after year, it's kept him and Leslie quietly cool. Jack sold over 500 of these well-made units to customers who use them when it's hot, and $399 and $349 will keep you cool. High-performance, long-lasting Danby air conditioners. McIver's, 610 Southeast Marine Drive, 879-5222. Online at mcivers.biz.
You need money. You own your home.
I need money. I own my home.
Meet Get Acceptance.
Online?
Or on the phone.
Not like a bank.
No, it's a simple application.
Credit check?
Nope. No need for a credit check or income history. And approvals take about 24 hours.
I need the money for...
It doesn't matter what you need the money for. Need $15,000?
$50,000.
Or $300,000. Go to Get Acceptance.
And get...
Accepted. Get Acceptance. When you can't bank on the banks, go to getthatloan.ca. Some conditions apply.
We're back. This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
Whitecaps draw Real Salt Lake. 1-1 the final there. We'll talk about that in the, in about 15 minutes time with Omar Salgado plus Asmir Begovic and Martin Rennie in the second half of the program. Right now, get into Kia Vancouver for their No Bull sales event. 0% financing up to 84 months and up to $4,000 cash bonuses on select models. Now at Kia Vancouver, 396 Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon, KiaVancouver.com. Tweet us your thoughts on the starting 11. My name's Tyler Green on Twitter at TylerGreenFC. Show contributor and Goal.com writer Simon Fudge. Simon Fudge 74 on Twitter. And starting with number 1 on the starting 11 tonight, did the best team win the World Cup?
Yes, Germany were by far the best team in the World Cup. Their balance, their organization, just everything that they had about them, they were the best team to win it by quite a distance. And it might have gotten highlighted by the very lopsided win over Brazil, but I think overall they were the best team.
Yeah, I would agree. They were the best team from start to finish. They did have some struggles here and there overall, though. But, at the same time, like you said, they were the best team defensively. They were the best team offensively. They had it all. Every facet of the game, they were the best. Where other teams had great offense, lacked defense, some lacked defense. Could score a lot of goals. Some couldn't score goals, had some good defense, and some just relied too much on a single player. And in the end, the best team won the World Cup.
Number 2, what was the best moment of the 2014 World Cup?
For me, the best moment was Miroslav Klose scoring that goal that gave him the record all to himself in World Cup goals overall. One of those moments that you don't get to see it too often. Now we've seen it in our lifetime anyway, twice. But how many more times? How many more players are going to be able to do that? You would think Thomas Mueller might be able to do it, but the chance, who knows? You need to find somebody who can be a prolific goal scorer, the guys that you think should be able to break that record, the likes of Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi. They don't look like they are. James Rodriguez looks like he got off to a flying start, but is he going to be able to? His team, anyways, are they going to make the World Cup over the next few years, next few tournaments? Well, that's a big question mark. And is he going to be able to repeat what he already has done? So, for me, the moments like that, where a record is broken, something that I find to be the best moments in the World Cup.
I ended up going with the great underdogs of Costa Rica defeating Greece on penalties to reach the quarterfinals. I thought for a small Central American country of somewhere between 4.5 and 5 million people, and for CONCACAF and the soccer played in this region that we live in, it was a great moment, because even when they went into that game, I don't think that they were fancied. It dragged on, and then even by the time they got to penalties, you wondered, oh, they'll probably end up on the wrong side of this, and Keylor Navas was just massive. He made a huge save in that spot kick, and when the game was over and Costa Rica had won it, everyone was just amazed and surprised and delighted in many ways to see them actually get to the last 8. So that was my World Cup moment.
Number 3 on the starting 11, what will be the legacy of the 2014 World Cup?
That attacking football is the way to play. And I think the fact that we saw lots of great goals and lots of exciting games, and for the most part teams that succeeded and did well by playing the kind of soccer that everybody wanted to watch, which was trying to take the game to opponents, that will probably be the legacy of this World Cup. And like I said, it'll be wrapped up in goals, the goals that were scored, the types of goals that we saw converted, and the kind of football that was played, but also as well the fact that teams that didn't try to play, that may have tried to be more pragmatic, tried to stop teams, and it ended up at the end of the day finding themselves on the outside looking at whatever stage of the competition.
For me, I look at the fact, and for me the legacy was in this tournament, in the end it was 2 kind of favorites that won it, but it was the underdog stories that, despite the fact that there were some small countries, and there were those countries like a Chile, like a Costa Rica, some of those countries that you didn't think were going to win it all, looked pretty darn close to being one of those teams that could upset you at any given time. Even Algeria against Germany looked like they at some point could be world beaters and could potentially be that team that moved on and moved forward. And so for me, it was that underdog story that will be that lasting legacy, that some of those underdogs really showed that they could make some noise at a World Cup event.
Number 4, Nicholas Bentner doesn't have a club to play for, and in some ways he didn't have any clothes on either when he posted a nearly nude photo of himself on Instagram this week. If listeners are interested in having a look, you can watch it on our video broadcast at am650radio.com. Is he doing himself any favors?
You know what? I think in the end, it doesn't matter what he's going to post. If Suarez bites people, now granted, they're at different levels in terms of their play on the field, but I think there's always room for guys like Nicholas Bentner on the team. It doesn't matter if he's posting odd photos of himself online. He's gonna find a job at some point. Might not be with the bigger club that he wants, but I think his play has more to do to that than anything else.
Looked like a picture that he had taken on holiday for me. It doesn't really, for me, I don't think it allows him to any favors really, because if you're a player that doesn't have a club, you don't want to put potential suitors, particularly when they may have certain moral grounds or aspects about who they are as an organization or as a club that might be interested in playing you, in a bit of a compromised position to think that you may have a questionable character. And so there could be 1 or 2 clubs out there that might have been interested in, as you say, as a player, that might now just kind of take a bit of a doubt over him as a person because he's decided to be as liberal as he decided to be this week in photo.
Number 5 on the starting 11, Sporting Kansas City inked designated player contracts with Matt Beasler and Graham Zusi that will keep the duo in town until 2018. Does Kansas City set the bar in terms of what a successful franchise looks like on and off the pitch?
They are right up there. They are certainly one of the clubs. I think also of LA Galaxy, Real Salt Lake, Seattle Sounders. But if you look at their recent history, moving into that new stadium, one of the best ones in the league in Sporting Park, keeping faith with their head coach Peter Vermees through all of these years and all the transition, which has allowed them to build the squad that they have, which turned into an MLS Cup winner last year. In the end, for their approach and what they've decided to do, keeping faith and sticking with it, it has paid dividends in the end.
For me, Kansas City sets the bar very, very high in this. They are growing there. They are becoming a big deal there. They are really, I think, in terms of it, are becoming a big-time team in Kansas City there. And it looks good on and off the pitch that they are able to keep guys staying there, like a Zuzi, like a Wiesler, who guaranteed are going to have options to go elsewhere, guaranteed to go look elsewhere. But they are buying into that system and are buying into the fact that Major League Soccer is a growing league. It is getting bigger, and they can be the superstars there, and they're getting regular playing minutes. And that's one thing that I look at is, hey, a lot of guys have gone over to Europe, whether it's been big-name players. They've gone to smaller sides. They haven't necessarily gotten playing time. They've gone to bigger sides, and they're second, third on the roster list as options. And so I like what they've done in Kansas City to sign these guys, and I like the fact that the players have stayed as well.
Number 6, now that MLS players are back with their teams, how will this change things in the league now for the back half of the season?
Well, I think it's going to tighten things up, and this question really referring to the fact that there's a lot of Major League Soccer players that were on that World Cup roster that are now going to be on their team. And I think a lot of these players, looking at it going into the World Cup, it was one of those things of, we don't want to get hurt. We want to make sure we're on that roster, or even just that worry about being, am I going to make this team? Am I going to make that U.S. team? Do I have to do more? Now they can just get back to playing soccer and playing for their team and not having to worry about anything else, not having to worry about being ready for the World Cup, not having to be gone for a month stretch with some of those players. You look at Real Salt Lake, a lot of those players disappeared. They went into obviously difficult place to play at Rio Tinto Stadium, but missing some of their big name players, and now all of a sudden those players are back and going to do well with them. So I think now we're going to see things tighten up, and we're going to see the cream of the crop in Major League Soccer start rising to the top.
Yeah, I think it's going to actually be a very interesting second half of the season. I do actually see the games overall actually being that much better to watch and being more competitive, because the race for the playoffs is going to heat up. We have very tight races in both conferences, particularly sort of from about second, third place on down to 6th and 7th. Plus, you also have the interesting thing of at least 5 of these clubs, 4 of them American, and then the Montreal Impact having to juggle CONCACAF Champions League soccer very soon, along with league play. So it's going to make for an interesting few months. But I actually think when we think of this entire campaign, the best part of it is probably to come, because, as you say, it's now a distraction-free phase, and they're now just going to go for it.
Number 7 on the starting 11, no Whitecaps will be playing in this year's Major League Soccer All-Star Game against Bayern Munich down in Portland. While it's great that they can concentrate on matches that matter, does it disappoint you at all?
Well, I'm slightly disappointed that neither Eric Hurtado or Pedro Morales got considered for the way that they've played this season, the All-Star Game. And having sort of known in the past, I think it was like this with the NHL All-Star Game, that it was always a rule that at least one player from one team was always represented. I'm just a bit disappointed there was at least maybe not one player on behalf of the Whitecaps put in that 23-man squad.
For me, I look at who was picked ahead of a guy like Eric Hurtado, and there's no way he's making that team. There are too many players that are far beyond what Eric Hurtado is. There's no way he should be on that team. I am a little bit disappointed, though, that we don't see a guy like Pedro Morales in it. And you know what? As much as, it's nice that they don't have to concentrate on playing that game and they can just concentrate on the league, and there's not that worry about getting hurt. It's nice to see your players go up against top competition, and playing against a team like Bayern Munich with all those guys that won a World Cup would have been absolutely fantastic to see how a guy like Pedro Morales, for me, the only guy that should have even got thought about for making the World Cup or the All-Star team from the Whitecaps, against guys like a Philip Lahm, like a Bastian Schweinsteiger, a Götze, what have you. It would have been great to see him go up against those type of guys and play in those type of games.
Number 8, if you were to sub one Whitecaps player into the MLS All-Star squad, who would it be, and who would he replace?
Well, Pedro Morales, like I said, is is the guy that I would go with. And then I look at who's on that team that I'd like to see out. And you look at the midfielders, it's kind of tough to pick one guy to get out of there. With the likes of Alonzo, Beckerman, Michael Bradley, Tim Cahill, Clint Dempsey, Will Johnson, Diego Valeri, Graham Susie, all those guys, very difficult to take out of there. But I would probably take out a guy like Will Johnson. Sure, he's Canadian, but I think Valeri's the guy that is sort of that player in there right now. And do we really need to see that many Portland Timbers players into the lineup? Not really. Take one of those guys out and replace him with Pedro Morales.
Yeah, it'd be Pedro Morales for me to represent the Caps. I think of Kyle Beckerman or Osvaldo Alonso, of one of the two players he would replace. I'm not sure if Beckerman has had that great of a season. I know he's obviously tonight he set up RSL's equalizer, but I kind of feel he's been there by reputation of the past and was part of the U.S. national team, so by reputation only he's there. Alonso, it's been a bit hot and cold. He hasn't played that many games this season, suspension, injuries. He scored a fantastic goal today against Spurs, but in relation to the other chosen midfielders, I would think that if Morales is going to come in, it would be in one of those two.
Number 9 on the starting 11. What did you make of Carl Robinson's starting 11 tonight for the Whitecaps versus Real Salt Lake?
Well, it was different. Obviously, it was taken in consideration. It was a third game in a week. He's obviously gone and given a chance to players who haven't had much of a look in his starting 11. And from the looks of it, what he got out of that starting lineup was not a bad performance in the end, but I wouldn't say it was a great one either.
For me, it was, I look at it and I think there's a lot of guys that, it's not like they've been playing Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday for a super long time here. And I don't necessarily think that all these guys need big, long breaks. They're going to get a few days off. They don't play till Sunday next week. I would have liked to have seen Carl Robinson go out and put forth his top-notch lineup, the best guys that he think could win this game, and not rest guys. These guys don't need rest. These guys need to play and get the full maximum points for me. And they were lucky to get the draw, in my opinion.
I agree. Number 10, Omar Salgado got his first MLS start tonight since 2012. Were you satisfied with his contribution?
I think when you look at what he did and getting into that starting 11 for the first time really in 2 years, yeah, he was good enough for me. It's funny, though. I look at this Whitecaps team. You have guys like Steven Beitashour, who lived off crossing the ball into the box for San Jose when he was there, and had guys like a Lenhart, like Wondolowski, who could finish those inside the area, whether with their head, whether with their feet. To me, Omar is that type of player, and the Whitecaps don't do those type of things when he's in there. Instead, he's playing out on the wing, and he's crossing the ball in to smaller players against big defenders. Overall, though, I think Omar had a solid game. First in a long time, first minutes really in a long, long time. And so, I think I was pretty satisfied with his contribution tonight.
I was as well. It's funny you bring up the crossing, is because you're thinking more along the lines that he should be on the receiving end of crosses. Mm-hmm. One of the things that I like about him is that his ability to run at players at pace and cross the ball very well is one of his major assets. It's just he needs to have a target to find in the box with those crossing. It shows that he has that level of versatility. I remember this very well because the way that the Caps played back before he got injured with that foot injury in 2012 in the 4-3-3, he was used wide. And I remember Martin Rennie said, because he was concerned that he wasn't so strong to be able to play with his back to goal in the sort of center striker position, he got him wide, facing goal and running it thing. And one of the main things I really noticed about him at the time with that was how good of a crosser of the ball that he was. And so tonight for me, for as much as he may not have been able to find anyone in the box, Darren Max would have been really the only option he had there. He did offer something different to that attack, and it kept RSL honest, the way he was coming in off the left. I thought, especially late in the first half, that they started the game well, did RSL, and he offered a bit of balance to at least sort of say, you know what, we're going to give you guys a bit of a problem, and here's how we're going to do it. So I was pleased as well for him, but from a slightly different viewpoint of the fact that it was good to see him actually cross the ball, because he's a very good crosser of the ball.
And lastly, number 11 on the starting 11. It is also tonight's Barber and Co. Barber poll question. How do you rate the Whitecaps so far this season? 19 games in, 27 points through those 19 games.
Okay, but nothing special to this point. I wrote about it in Gold Canada this week. Sometimes the Whitecaps are good. They're sometimes even exciting, but they're not great. And if you're going to label a team great, they have to be consistent. And this was one of those games where, to me, what they want to achieve going for the rest of the season is going to be incumbent on them finding that consistency. And tonight, it was good in spots. It wasn't so good in other areas. It was enough to just get a point. But we get the microcosm of that within 90 minutes, and then we get the microcosm of that over the course of the season. And it has to be better if they're going to be more competitive for me.
And you can answer that question at Soccer Talk 650. The Barber poll, presented by Barber & Co. For me, just not good enough. We've talked about consistency. We've talked about the potential of this team. Well, at some point, that potential has to start giving way to more points, greater points, wins, winning on the road, winning at home. They haven't won as much at home as they have in the past, seemingly. It used to be such a fortress. Yeah, they've picked up some wins on the road, and they've picked up some points on the road. But at some point, you have to look at the fact that this team could be better. And yeah, there's so much potential, but they just haven't been able to put it in. 27 points through 19 games is their second worst point total at this point in their 4-year history. The worst, of course, was in 2011 when it was just a god-awful season. But in 2012, they had 30 points. In 2013, they had 32 points at this point in the season. 27. It's tough. And you look at the standings right now, you look at where some of the other teams are, the Whitecaps have to pick things up big time if they want to make the Major League Soccer playoffs.
That's for sure. No, there's no question. And it starts next week, and they must take 3 points against Dallas next week. I think it's incumbent upon
Dallas.
They must have that win.
Dallas is looking and firing on all cylinders right now. You can weigh in, as mentioned, you can weigh in on the Barber poll at Soccer Talk 650. Canucks dude saying, underwhelming, not consistent enough, but they seem to have potential. Waterboy 99 troops, so much potential, so little execution. Decent, but could be much better. Again, you can weigh in on the Barber poll at Soccer Talk 650, at Tyler Green FC, at Simon Fudge 74. Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk, the Fantasy League contest this month for the Soccer Talk Fantasy League, the MLS Fantasy League. It's pretty simple. We've been giving things to the people that have been doing well recently. We've changed it up a little bit because there's a lot of people that just aren't doing well at all. And so we decided, if you're having a terrible month, well, you deserve some points. And basically, you just have to come in dead last through the month of July, and you're going to win the prize. And I haven't checked my team the entire month because I'm looking to try to win this competition through this one, even though I'm ineligible. 10 off the pace from being the worst team in July. Trying really hard to win this one. Ronald Martin, though, has taken the cake so far. 61 points. Justin Fendley, 64 points. Kirk Thompson, 70 points. it's pretty close down there at the bottom. My buddy Kyle, who I thought was a shoo-in to win this, or at least be in the bottom two, somehow has managed to pick himself up a little bit and get out of it. You can weigh in on the Fantasy League. You can check it out, facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan for all the details. It is presented by Umbro Canada. Details on how to join the league and the July contest, facebook.com/SoccerTalkVan. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of the Canadian men's and women's national teams, celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. If you want your club to play like the pros, dress them like the pros at Umbro.com. Umbro, the heart and soul of football. Up next, Simon will give us all the latest scores from Major League Soccer, find out where the Whitecaps are in the playoff picture and the standings right now, and we'll chat with Whitecaps FC's Omar Salgado.
This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650. Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC.
The 2014 season of EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. Welcome to the front lines of the game. Welcome to the Big League. The one that provides an elevated level of competition for high-performance players within BC and contributes to player development for the Canadian national team and professional opportunities here and abroad. This is where you're going to see the top youth players in action. Catch some of the most intense soccer in the province. EA Sports BC Soccer Premier League. For information and upcoming games, check out bcsoccer.net.
Not that your stylist at the salon isn't doing a good job, but man, you deserve the big red leather barber chair experience of Barber & Co. Here's how it works. Go to barberandco.ca. Book your appointment at one of the 4 barbershops in Gastown, Yaletown, the Financial District, or Cambie and 18th. You can just walk in, too, and get your hair cut, hot shave, buzz cut, fade, or beard trim experience. A great wedding party idea, too. barberandco.ca.
Whether playing soccer on this continent or football on every other, Umbro is the name worn by top players and teams worldwide. Those same uniforms are available for your team or club at Umbro.com. Umbro, proud to be the official supplier of Canada's men's and women's national teams, is celebrating 90 years of expertise in the game. If you want your club to play like the pros, dress them like the pros at Umbro.com. Umbro, the heart and soul of football.
Get into Kia Vancouver for their No Bull sales event with 0% financing up to 84 months and up to $4,000 cash bonuses on select models. Purchase any new Kia before July 31st and get their special Summer in the City package with free car washes for life, free airport shuttle and parking, a 4-piece travel set, and you're automatically entered to win a trip for 2 to Harrison Hot Springs in September. No Bull, now at Kia Vancouver, Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon and KiaVancouver.com.
BC is better on a boat, and Boating BC is a community of boating professionals and enthusiasts who want to share it with you. Visit boatingbc.ca to meet members who can answer all your boating questions from buying to sailing. Before you get out on the water, get online to boatingbc.ca, the voice of recreational boating in BC and engine of the Vancouver International Boat Show. Join Boating BC on AM 650's Boomer Life this Tuesday at 6.
Other Tuesday Boomer Life sponsors include Abacan and Associates.
This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
We'll talk Whitecaps and Real Salt Lake in just a matter of moments. Included in that, Omar Salgado will join us in just a minute or two. But first, Simon has all these scores from around Major League Soccer.
One game last night in MLS. Portland Timbers defeated the Colorado Rapids by 2-1. Very important win for them. 6 other games today in the league. Sporting Kansas City defeated LA Galaxy 2-1. It was New York Red Bulls 1, San Jose Earthquakes 1. Bradley Wright Phillips now with a league-leading 17 goals on the season with that goal today. Columbus Crew defeated Montreal Impact with 2 Bernardo Honor goals, 2-1. It was Chicago Fire 1, Philadelphia Union 1, Houston Dynamo 2, Toronto FC 2. Gilberto and Dominic Oduro were the goals for TFC in that game. And it was FC Dallas 2, New England Revolution 0. New England have lost 7 straight MLS games after being one of the hottest teams in the league earlier in the season. Only one game tomorrow in MLS. It is DC United hosting the informed Chivas USA, and there was also an international friendly today. Seattle Sounders drew 3-3 with the English Premier League's Tottenham Hotspur at the Clink.
And just to update you on some of those standings, Sporting Kansas City in the East is the favorite, number 1 spot, 35 points. DC United in second with 31. Toronto FC, 26 points. Red Bulls and New England rounding out the top 5. In the Western Conference, Seattle Sounders have 38 points, the class of Major League Soccer right now, through 18 games played. FC Dallas has 29 points. Real Salt Lake has 29 points. The Galaxy 27. The Rapids 27. And the Whitecaps just outside the playoff bar. 19 games played, 27 points, sitting in 6th place. And that is one ahead of Toronto FC in the Canadian Championship points standings to qualify for the Voyageurs Cup for next year. But Toronto does have 2 games in hand. The Vancouver Whitecaps were losers today. Or, sorry, they weren't losers. Although, you know what? I kind of feel like they were because, well, they were gifted a PK. But it was 1-1, Real Salt Lake, Vancouver Whitecaps, Rio Tinto Stadium. And one player that is joining us now is Omar Salgado. He got his first start in Major League Soccer in about 2 years' time. And Omar joining us from the bus down in Salt Lake in Utah. Omar, have to be pretty happy with the fact that you got back into a starting role here in about 2 years' time.
Yeah, it was fun. Obviously something that I've been pushing for, like you said, for 2 years. It's been a long road, but happy I'm back.
How did you feel out there getting that first start?
Yeah, it felt good. Felt like I'm pretty close to what I was before. I can make a difference, hopefully, in the future.
How are you feeling out there in general? Obviously, you haven't got a lot of playing time. Or are you feeling a little bit frustrated, or are you happy with the progression that you've gotten?
Yeah, obviously happy that I got on the field on today. But, yeah, frustrated because we're halfway through the season. This is the first start. So I just want to keep pushing for more minutes, and hopefully those come.
We're speaking with Whitecaps forward Omar Salgado here on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk. Omar, just talk about this game. Obviously, you get the point out of a very difficult place to play. What makes Rio Tinto Stadium such a difficult stadium to play in?
Yeah, it is really difficult to play. I think the altitude plays a part. I think it's a difficult place to breathe in and then get 90 minutes in. So yeah, it's a difficult place to play. The fans are great here. Yeah, it's difficult.
Obviously, a bunch of skirmishes near the end. Are you a little disappointed you didn't get in there? You're a big guy. You could have probably handled yourself in a bit of a little brawl there.
No, of course not. No, I want to get a red card in an MLS game. So, yeah, I feel like it was, like you said, difficult match for both teams, and they were frustrated, and it showed on the field.
Now, the results, you've been able to pick up single points here and there, but you really haven't been able to put together a winning streak here. Just one win in your last 7 matches. How is this team feeling? Is there still a confidence on this team, or is there definitely things that you guys need to work on?
No, I think there's times where you're going to be winning. There's times when obviously it's going to be difficult. Every team goes through it. It's part of a long season. Something that we have to keep our head ups and keep playing. I think the wins will come, like they did before this 7 game streak. So I think just keep our heads down and keep working.
Omar, final question here. Now you get to come back here to Vancouver for a couple games. What do you need to do over the last couple games here? What do you guys need to do to make sure that you get a win at home at BC Place next Sunday?
Yeah, I think play like we usually do at home. I think we always have good games at home. Just keep working hard. We have the talent on the team to get wins, and those wins will come by themselves.
Omar, thanks again. Safe travels back here from Real Salt Lake.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Omar Salgado, thanks again joining us here on Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk. Omar, following his starting performance in a 1-1 draw between the Whitecaps and Real Salt Lake, and he talked about it, Simon. They need to get back to playing the way that they can play, tough at home, and play their style of football. BC Place hasn't been a fortress that it has in years past. Teams have come in and managed to pick up points, whether there's been some refereeing decisions or what have you, but the Whitecaps just haven't been as tough at home this year, have they?
No, and that's a big piece, and it's not to say that they can't get that fortress feeling back, and so it's about what they do going forward to make this place very difficult in it, because it's going to play a big part in if they're going to be in the postseason, and if they're even going to be a threat if they are in the postseason I would think more of a dark horse. Got to get that home form back in a big way, and it starts next week against FC Dallas. Many people need to judge what this team is going to be like this season on next Sunday's game.
Bretness 37 weighing in on the Barber poll. How do you feel about the Whitecaps just after the midpoint of the season? Bretness 37 weighing in saying not as good as they should be, inconsistent, enjoying Leverone and Mitchell filling big boots, still looking for a finisher. They've had guys finish. Darren Maddox has finished. Eric Hurtado has finished. Kakuta Mane has finished. One of the reoccurring themes on the Barber poll today has been the fact that they have the potential. When should we expect that potential to deliver? Now? Or are we waiting another year?
We should expect it now. And I'll put it to supporters out there like this. If your expectations are extremely high right now that this team makes the playoffs this season, then that potential should be delivering as we speak. It's as simple as that. That is my concern, because everyone says they got the potential. They have and we heard it all through the feedback, and we've been hearing it through most of this season. But it's a question of, okay, but when is it going to turn the corner? When are we waiting for it to happen? Is it actually going to happen? If your expectations that this team makes the postseason and you're imperative on that, they should be delivering now. That potential should starting to flower now. And I think it's safe to say that hasn't happened at this point.
Yeah, and I look at it, and I look at they do need to get that potential. And it's not like these guys haven't played before. Yeah, they have a young squad. They have the youngest squad in Major League Soccer at 5'8" is their age group. But it's not like that's wildly off some of these other teams. Sporting Kansas City, the second best team in all of Major League Soccer, is at 25.3 as their total, their average age. So it's not like you need an older squad, but you look at the players. Kakuta Mane is young. Last year he played 20 games in Major League Soccer, 6 starts, so he has experience. Gershon Kofi is considered a young guy, but he's had now over 100 Major League Soccer games. Russell Tybert played 24 games last year, and more the year before that, a few before the year before that. Eric Hurtado played 15 games. So it's not like, Carlisle Mitchell has 15 games last year under his belt, and then now a few more this year. So it's not like these guys have never played in Major League Soccer before, and they're brand new, and they don't know what it's like. So yeah, I agree with you that at some point, and it has to happen soon, these guys, they need to show you that potential. They need to show you that they deserve to be playing in Major League Soccer. And then by the same token, some of these guys that haven't even gotten into the starting 11 yet, or even some of them into the 18, at which point are those guys going to start and compete and start trying to take away the positions of the guys that are in there that aren't necessarily getting the job done? They're too inconsistent for me right now.
It's exactly right. I mean, it's a question of, when do we expect these players that you've just talked about to deliver? It's not as if it almost sounds to me in some ways, and I don't think there's been any direct comment from Carl Robinson in this respect, but in many ways it's almost like he's been hinting consistently to a kind of breaking in theory with this squad. Like we're just trying to break things in, and then we're going to eventually kind of work our way to where we want to go. The thing is, the statistics don't lie, and yes, as much as we have young players in that team, they've got a lot of games and experience under their belt. And now I think the expectation that they must now stand up and deliver should be there for everyone. Because let's face it, we're in the 4th season with this league, with this team. This team had incredibly high expectations when it came into this league, thinking it could do some huge things. We'd like to know, or I'd certainly like to know, and I think everyone out there would like to know, where's this club going? And 40th anniversary this year, in really many ways, what's the next 40 years going to look like? Are we looking at something incredibly exciting? There's potential of that as well. But realistically, is it going to be more ups and downs, bit of excitement here and there? That's what we've had the last couple of years. It's hard to know what we're supposed to get. We know what we want to get, but does the club have a clear enough understanding of what's expected of them? That's a big question right now.
Get into Kia Vancouver for their No Bull sales event. 0% financing up to 84 months and up to $4,000 cash bonuses on select models now at Kia Vancouver, Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon, KiaVancouver.com. There was a player who trained with the Whitecaps. He's now signed in Stuttgart, in Germany, for their first team on a 4-year contract. Did he slip through the Whitecaps' fingers? We'll find out in Around the Globe next.
Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC. This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650.
Held high above the heads of soccer supporters everywhere, the soccer scarf is a world-class icon of support. And Global Scarves can turn it into a high-profit, high-visibility, high-spirited fundraising idea for your club, organization, or school. Global Scarves has been producing high-quality, UK-knitted soccer scarves for over 40 years. They offer low prices for fundraising groups with no sacrifice on quality. A welcome change from chocolate. Find out more about Global Scarves. Contact Brad at globalscarves.com or visit globalscarves.com.
The Vancouver Street Soccer League isn't out to change the world. Just give the men and women in our homeless communities a chance to play soccer. Regardless of skill, everyone's included in practices and matches with teams from UBC, the Vancouver Police Department, the Vancouver Mayor's Office, and more. The focus is fun, but it builds skill and confidence, and that can change someone's world. Find out more at vancouverstreetsoccer.com.
This message fueled by Duso's fresh pasta and sauce. Proud to support community on and off the pitch.
Pain or injury slowing you down? Take it to the choice of many top athletes, Expert Physio. Serving the Lower Mainland for over 35 years, the team at Expert Physio is dedicated to individualized care with specialized services such as orthotics, acupuncture, IMS, plus dizziness, pelvic floor, and certified hand therapies. Over 300 physicians referred to Expert Physio last year, and 100% of patients surveyed said they'd choose Expert Physio again. You're in good hands with Expert Physio. Burnaby Heights or at 8 Rinks, expertphysio.ca.
Get into Kia Vancouver for their No Bull sales event with 0% financing up to 84 months and up to $4,000 cash bonuses on select models. Purchase any new Kia before July 31st and get their special Summer in the City package with free car washes for life, free airport shuttle and parking, a 4-piece travel set, and you're automatically entered to win a trip for 2 to Harrison Hot Springs in September. No Bull, now at Kia Vancouver, Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon and KiaVancouver.com.
Wendy's presents the $4.99 Night Owl Combo.
Welcome to Wendy's. Can I take your order?
I'm so excited the $4.99 Night Owl Combo is back that I became the Night Owl.
I see that. Nice costume.
I stayed up all day making it.
Oh, the tights are a nice touch.
The Wendy's $4.99 Night Owl Combo with a Dave's Hot and Juicy Cheeseburger, small fries, and drink. Taxes extra. Available after 9 p.m. all summer long at participating Wendy's. Now that's better.
They're not tights. They're meggings.
Man leggings?
No, meggings.
Back. This is Kia Vancouver's Soccer Talk on AM 650. Now broadcasting from the Barber & Co. studios. Here's your host, Tyler Green.
Whitecaps won, Real Salt Lake won. In the second half of the show, we'll hear from Asmir Begovic and Martin Rennie around the globe in just a second. But let's check out some of the latest scores from the Canadian NASL teams and a USL Pro team with Whitecaps.
Yeah, it's the second week of the fall season of the NASL, and it's not been a really good start for SC Edmonton. They drew last week against their Canadian rivals Ottawa Fury at home, and unfortunately went down to a 1-0 defeat today at the Atlanta Silverbacks, who actually was Atlanta's last game as for head coach Eric Vinalda, who will now go upstairs as technical director of the club. Ottawa Fury play their first game tomorrow in their brand new TD Place Stadium against the New York Cosmos. It is set to break the modern-day NASL all-time single-game attendance record tomorrow, so it should be a very exciting game. Ottawa Fury against New York Cosmos tomorrow at TD Place. In USL Pro, not a good day for the Charleston Battery, falling 4-0 to the Richmond Kickers away.
Barber Poll presented by Barber & Co. online at barberandco.ca. How do you rate the Whitecaps so far this season? 19 games in. Let's hear from you. Soccer Talk 650, Tyler Green FC. And now let's check the latest headlines from around the globe. Taking a look at the news, notes, and rumors from around the globe. Neil and the team at Uniglobe One Travel. They've got you covered. 604-677-1495. Well, we talked about it in the starting 11, but Graham Zusi, Matt Beasler signing long-term deals with Sporting Kansas City. Both are now DPs. Solid work from Kansas City to get those players locked up and sticking around in Major League Soccer. Well, young Canadian by way of St. Lucia, Kanigia
Elva.
I had it written down, and I had it going, and now all of a sudden, when I have to say it on air, I screwed up. Say it again, son.
Kanigia Elva.
Yeah, he played a couple practice matches earlier this season. What, February was it?
Yeah, he was in an inter-squad game in preseason in February at UBC.
And some residency stuff as well with the Whitecaps.
That's right. Yep.
Signed a 4-year contract with Stuttgart in Germany just a few days ago. According to a couple sources, fell right through the Caps' fingertips. Certain members wanted him to be signed. Never happened. Some did not sign him, and, well, now he's plying his trade elsewhere.
Raises a question or two.
Brazil likely to name a successor to Scolari as head coach on Tuesday. And in the scratch your head column, AC Milan interested in signing Nani from Manchester United, but they, along with pretty much everyone else in the world, is trying to figure out how United are asking £11 million for the 27-year-old Portugal winger. That was a look at Around the Globe with Uniglobe One Travel. Need travel help? Maybe a trip to Europe, perhaps just a trip down the I-5 to Seattle for a Cascadia match. Neil has you covered with whatever you need, hotel, transportation. 604-677-1495. That's 604-677-1495. Get into Kia Vancouver for their No Bull sales event. 0% financing, up to 84 months, and up to $4,000 cash bonuses on select models now at Kia Vancouver, 396 Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon, KiaVancouver.com. David Sandals talking injuries. Martin Rennie talking about his move to Korea to coach. Asmir Begovic discussing his World Cup experience. All that in the second half of the program. But first, the BCSoccer.net profile.
Time now for the BC Soccer Profile, showcasing special achievements and success stories from throughout the province. Born in Victoria, British Columbia, Emma Fletcher was named to Canada's roster for the upcoming FIFA U20 Women's World Cup Canada 2014. The 19-year-old midfielder began her soccer career on the island with Gordon Head Soccer Association at the age of 5. Her family moved to New Zealand when she was 9 before returning to Victoria a year later. In 2013, Fletcher was honored as the 2013 British Columbia Provincial Youth Player of the Year. Currently a student at the Louisiana State University, Fletcher made her debut for the Canadian Youth Program at 15 years old. She represented New Zealand at the FIFA U17 Women's World Cup in 2012 before choosing to play for Canada in the upcoming U20 Women's World Cup Canada this summer. Fletcher and her Canadian teammates will play in the tournament beginning in Toronto on August the 5th. The final will be played at the Olympic Stadium in Montreal on August the 24th. That's Emma Fletcher representing British Columbia on the world stage. For more information on youth soccer in British Columbia, visit bcsoccer.net. That's bcsoccer.net.
This is Kia Vancouver Soccer Talk on AM 650. Follow us on Twitter at Soccer Talk 650 and at Tyler Green FC.
Vancouver Street Soccer League is the beautiful game at its finest. Teams of men and women who are homeless, have recently been homeless, or are at risk for homelessness get together to train and play matches. It's great fun that builds skill and confidence, and the league sent players to 4 consecutive Homeless World Cups in Milan, Rio de Janeiro, Paris, Mexico City, and Poland. Find out more at VancouverStreetSoccer.com.
This message fueled by Dusso's Fresh Pasta and Sauce, proud to support community on and off the pitch.
Get into Kia Vancouver for their No Bull sales event with 0% financing up to 84 months and up to $4,000 cash bonuses on select models. Purchase any new Kia before July 31st and get their special Summer in the City package with free car washes for life, free airport shuttle and parking, a 4-piece travel set, and you're automatically entered to win a trip for 2 to Harrison Hot Springs in September. No Bull, now at Kia Vancouver, Southwest Marine Drive at Yukon and KiaVancouver.com.
The Straight Razor Shave, a leading man classic. Steady hand coaxing the rugged face back to smoothness. This nearly lost art has found revival at Barber & Co. Hot towels, straight edge blade, and your face. It's an experience that reminds you you're alive. You're a man in the company of history's finest men. Start at barberandco.ca. Pick your barber shop in Yaletown, Gastown, the Financial District, or Cambie and 18th, and relax into the big leather chair for the shave of your life.
Held high above the heads of soccer supporters everywhere. The soccer scarf is a world-class tradition, and Global Scarves can get you into the game. From English soccer clubs to Canadian hockey teams, Global Scarves has been producing high-quality UK-knitted soccer scarves for over 40 years. Because you're dealing directly, you get the lowest price, and your order shipped in as little as 15 days. Global Scarves are a high-margin, high-spirited fundraising idea. Contact Brad at globalscarves.com or visit globalscarves.com.
Talk about hot. I talked to Jack McIver a few days ago, and he said he's had the same Danby portable air conditioner in his bedroom since 1999. Year after year, it's kept him and Leslie quietly cool. Jack sold over 500 of these well-made units to customers who use them when it's hot, and $399 and $349 will keep you cool. High-performance, long-lasting Danby air conditioners. McIver's, 610 Southeast Marine Drive, 879-5222. Online at mcivers.biz.